who said you nicked it. Yep. Got to go. He's not convinced. Are you sure? Eventually respecting his partner, and it would have looked a little odd as well had he said, no, you may think I'm out, but I'm going to take it, because generally that is the way they go about it. Non-striker says you're out, take his word for it.
The more line calls you rely on the partner's call, but we've seen batters, especially in situations like that where it's about a nick and you know it, you go straight away. You don't need anyone's opinion.
And I think the noise came from the ball brushing his leg later, right?
I don't think so. That's why I said, where did that flicker come from?
Yeah.
Because the ball had passed him and nowhere near. There was daylight in the front on picture.
And if that were the case, he would have known that the ball had hit him on his body. But back to the current moment. Omar Zai, the number one player for me in this Afghanistan team, batted superbly now, making an impression with the ball. There you go. The Group B, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, the three sort of stronger teams. Hong Kong, China started off quite well. I thought they bowled really well in the first 15 overs. India, Pakistan in Group A, with opportunities for Oman and UAE to create any kind of upset.
Yep.
20 cricket, possible.
So looking forward to an upset in Group A. Yeah. So highly look forward to competition, the Asia Cup. Opportunity for the associate nations. And it keeps growing. Teams getting better. The past you put forward just 2 or 3 good teams in the subcontinent, but now we are up to the big 5 basically.
And I think a lot of that has to be, I mean, you've got to give credit to Afghanistan. Now, when you see an Afghanistan-Bangladesh encounter, you know it's going to be a close one. Afghanistan may start off favourites as well. Arguably, maybe the second strongest team in this tournament, because they beat Pakistan recently. I say arguably. So Afghanistan's emergence and growth has made the Asia Cup even more competitive. Leading edge. And taken. Mohammad Nabi takes the catch. And after doing wonders with the bat, Omar Zai gets a wicket for his side.
He swings the ball, he gets it to move in the air. If you're not right on top of it, it's hard to get him away. Just a single and a wicket. Yeah, reaches for it through the shot early. Zishan walks back. And whatever firepower Hong Kong, China might have had at the top, well, it's been put off very quickly by the Afghan bowlers. He's gone for 5, 12 for 2.
ভাই সবাই দয়া করে চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন। এতগুলো মানুষ দেখতেছেন ভাই, সবাই একটা করে সাবস্ক্রাইব দিলে অনেক হয়ে যায়। সবাই সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন ভাই।
Afghanistan doing exactly as we expected. The bowling is clearly their greatest strength. Didn't get 200 runs on the board, but they'll make 180 look like 300. Just the kind of bowling strength that they have. There's no weak link there.
And they like that because they're spin dominant. Pitches could slow down once you get the runs on the board. Interesting stat though. 41 occasions in T20 cricket, Afghanistan batting first, have scored 160 plus. 136, lost 5, and would you believe it? Hong Kong are one of those teams who, Hong Kong, China, are one of those teams who have beaten them. And that game happened here in 2016, 165 they chased down.
Wow, that's some achievement.
Wide, was not a part of an Asia Cup. At that time, Hong Kong had a tour of the UAE, played various different countries, and the only T20 international played on that tour. Out here, 166 with 2 balls to spare. Izakat Khan is the new batter. And looking at the teams, Gulbuddin Naib is the only survivor of the Afghan team. There are 4 from the Hong Kong China team. Rath was 1, Hyatt. Trying to think who the others was. There was a Mark Chapman in that team who plays for New Zealand now.
Interesting how Asia Cup has evolved over the years. This is the 17th edition. They're just looking at this again, just to be sure. Right thing to do. I know it takes a little bit of time out of the game.
We have an umpire review for run out at the bowler's end. Can I get the standard angle, please, for the run out at the bowler's end, please? Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. And roll back, please. Roll back. And roll forward. Roll forward. And 1 frame back, please. 1 frame back, please. And you can just freeze here. He's batted just short of the crease when the bail dislodged. I'm ready to make my decision for the biscuit.
Can't take any chances these days with these LED light stumps and line decisions. It all seemed like a moment when nothing had happened, almost an innocuous looking moment. You see the reaction of the players as well. The umpire also half-heartedly went upstairs. See, that gives you the impression that he's plonked his bat well in time, and no one really was that excited. It's only after they saw the third umpire's decision and what we saw with the line call that they're celebrating. So a little bit of a bonus wicket here for Afghanistan. So the great start. Hong Kong China now reeling at 13 for 3.
Well, had 1 stump to aim at, and he doesn't miss Rashid Khan. The wickets are falling, and the least you need is a run out. Kalhan Chalu, the new batter. Well, he'll be now on strike. Wickets are tumbling for Hong Kong China. One of the younger players in the team. A high score of 45, but a healthy strike rate.
Amazing when you see the teams that play cricket in the world. It was against Samoa and in Singapore.
Sanjay, we were talking about 160 plus scores chased down. Now, between these two teams, there have been 5 games. Hong Kong have won 2. And Afghanistan 3. This is the 6th. I also said that Afghanistan have failed to defend 160 plus scores. And those 2 wins that Hong Kong had plus. That's the run out. Little lazy from Nizakat Khan. Get to face the delivery and just to walk back.
Saw the reaction of Farooqi. He saw the ball hitting the stumps and he was ready to just keep walking. It was a bowling mark. the umpire. Well done.
মাথায় যতটুকু ডিস্টার্ব আছে পিএ হচ্ছে তার একমাত্র চিকিৎসা
So let's go upstairs and have a look. Well done. A good call from Virender Sharma, who went upstairs. We've got Asif Yaqub of Pakistan at square leg. Also impressed with the way the third umpire upstairs. Looking at all these line calls, doing the TV umpire job. That's what you saw there was Asif Yaqub. Who you saw there?
Sanjay, I thought you said Rohit Sharma. Thought TV umpire's name was. Oh, opportunity again for a run out. No direct hit this time. With the shot, you gotta go for the one. No wicket, they survive, but get a run off the overthrow. 16 for 3 after 3.
Hayat is the more experienced batter in this Hong Kong China team, the second the highest run getter for Hong Kong China's international cricket, T20 cricket. Had his roots in Pakistan before obviously migrating Hong Kong China. First ball from Ghazan Farooz, like most Afghanistan spinners, slightly out of the box.
You can't keep them in a box. The actions, the variations, and the thought process to come up with this skill. That's amazing. They're all very different. Their own way. So much skill and energy also behind the ball with those fingers. On a flat green pitch, they back themselves to get some deviation. They don't need the ball to turn a lot because they bowl wicket to wicket, sometimes quicker through the air. The moment it deviates ever so slightly, batters don't know which way to go, where to hit them, what to play.
Mujibur Rahman was from the same mold. We've got Varun Chakravarti for India, who will feature later in the tournament. Also from that same kind of genre of spin bowling. But you've got to say the pioneer of this kind of bowling has to be the Sri Lankan. I think Ajanta Mendis was one of the first guys who came in and started bowling in this fashion, had tremendous success. The start of his career just ran through sides, even in test matches. There's that ball you were talking about, bit of swing, a drift in the air.
Yeah, you need very strong fingers to flick the ball out like that. And they more rely on the fact that the ball skids off the pitch, the star player spotlight. Very young bowler, making tremendous impact. That was just sliding it down and getting it to move through the air.
Yeah, I think Ajanta Mendis had basically 3 variations. There was that typical flick with the fingers front of the hand. Then he had an off spinner, which was pretty good. He could get it to turn. And then there was that proper carom ball. And maybe a top spinner with his, not quite the googly, but he could do that as well. But they've just sort of taken that skill to a different level, these guys.
one of Sri Lanka's selectors now. Oh, here's another one. Called early. Oh dear, they made a hash of it. Not happy at all. Call for it, says Rashid. 19 for 3 after 4.
ভাই চ্যানেলটি সবাই সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন ভাই।
Yeah, it's a
পরের ম্যাচগুলো দেখতে সবাই চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন।
let off from Afghanistan, would have easily got his fourth. He claimed that he called it. Maybe his partner didn't hear, or maybe bailed out at the very last minute. And once you're actually focused on the ball and you see hearing in your eye line, then the problem comes in for the catcher.
Stuart Broad has made it, which is good news. Which is good, because I'm going to start with the bowling with our coaching clinic. Now, this is Charlie. He's age 9. He's from Southampton. Any tips for him? And he's only been playing for a year, I think.
Brilliant.
So we're going to slow it down.
Well, the outcome's nice.
Yep.
Hits off stump. I think in the run-up there could maybe be... It's nice and straight-lined, and bowling's all about straight lines, but I think the knees probably need to pick up a little bit more, so you can bring a bit more energy in. And I think with the arms as well, when we put a ball in our hand, it makes us run quite unnaturally sometimes. You'd always run with your arms going straight, but you put a ball in your hand, it sometimes makes your arms go sideways. And we think about straight lines with bowling, so immediately in the run-up, I'd start with the run-up and think about picking the knees up to the sky a bit more and getting the arms working in a straight line. And that ultimately helps you align to your target a bit more. Because the mindset, how I used to visualise it a bit, was having a bit of string on my chest that would be tied to off stump. And that string, follow that string all the way to off stump, and that's a straight line. So when I deliver the ball, my line shouldn't miss. A lot of the time we run and we sort of wobble around and angle around, which makes it quite difficult to then deliver the skill and feel balanced. So I'd put a little bit more energy in the knees in the run-up. Think about at the delivery stride, a bit of string that's tied to off stump but also lifting us up. You don't want to be collapsing at the delivery stride, so think about being tall as you can. And one thing with the front arm, I think on that front arm just goes a bit too quick, and I was a bad example of that as a test match bowler. My front arm slayed a little bit, but that's why I wore a sweatband. It wasn't necessarily to wipe the sweat away, it was a target for me that I could try and hold my front arm in a straight line. So I would pick the front arm up a little bit higher, just practice almost counting to 1 with the front arm as high as you can, because then that's the driving force that will bring us back down and bring power through the right arm. So I'd just concentrate a little bit on the run-up, get a bit more energy in the knees and the string to the stump, and then the front arm higher to be able to allow us to drive through.
OK, well done, Charlie. He's only been playing for a year. Now we're going to move on to 6-year-old Dominic. Ricky, this one's for you, because he's a batter, only 6, and he's whacking it in the back garden. What do you see here?
I see a lot of good stuff there. He's got the bent knees in his stance here. He's got that back lift up nice and high, something that Nasser was talking about yesterday. Like a lot of the modern players are standing with the toe of the bat up in the air, which I think actually makes the bat swing that little bit easier. You've got more control of the bat because it's a shorter swing, if you like, albeit because it's coming from high, it's quite a long swing. But he's doing a lot of things right there. One thing, the angle's probably not perfect for us, but if you look at his stance, maybe he can just open that front foot out a little bit. He's very, very square on with his feet, which I know all too well with the ball coming back in. If you get too side on, sometimes it makes it hard to get a little bit of access to the ball. But there you go there. There's a perfect on drive. He opens that front foot out nicely, gives him access to the ball and allows him to play with a straight bat down through a long line. I love, with little kids like this, I love them standing there and hitting the ball as hard as they can along the ground. Like if I want to coach anyone from 2 to 15, the first thing I'll say to them is find a way to hit the ball as hard as you can, but hit it along the ground on both sides of the wicket, and then you can start building on hitting shots over the top of the field. But there's a lot of the basics there are very, very good.
Very good. Right, let's move to Harry, who is 10. He's a right-arm seamer. We got him from behind in an oval Invincible shirt. Again, the run-up with the arms, what do you think, Brody? I can re-cue that and do it again.
Yeah, a little bit with the arms. And I think when the arms are going sideways, what that then leads you into is being, in your load-up, the load up is coming out wide, which again has a reaction, which means then your front arm is having to work extra hard to get the ball to the target. A little tip which I did when I was 17 actually, because I used to load up there. I for about a winter I worked on tapping my bowling hand on my shoulder, just to bring it into more of a straight line, because my reaction was if I loaded there, then my front arm to balance loaded there, and it wasn't working together. So I worked on tapping my front arm on my back shoulder, which then helped my front arm work together. So I think, yeah, running technique again, don't run sideways like that. Try and get the arms pumping that way, and then the load up, just practice tapping that bowling arm on there. It doesn't mean that you'll do it in the game all the time, but just practice tapping that arm on the shoulder. And also, don't rush through the action. Sometimes, we have this run up and we get to the delivery and we think, oh, I'm going to bowl it. It's got to be really fast. It's all about timing and tempo in that moment. So a lot of the time in my jump, if I felt rushed, I'd count to 1 and try and hang in the air a little bit. You don't lose momentum because you're dragging that through from your run-up, but jump, count to 1. You're almost like breathing before the momentum comes. Jump, count to 1, bang, bowl.
Okay, let's go back to batting. Punter, this is Alfie. He's 13. Any tips, he says?
It was a nice cover drive to start with. I mean, he's got a very strong bottom hand. You see, actually, top hand grip. If you have a look at how strong his top hand is around on the top part of the handle, if you can go back to have a look at that, yeah, you can see how strong that top hand is, and he gets the bat, when he picks the bat up, he gets the bat in a little bit behind him, which is not ideal. It makes offside shots easy. If you think about where the bat, if you're there and the bat's coming back in behind you there, it's easy to hit offside shots, but if the bat gets back in behind you, then it's hard to get access to the ball on the leg side. So for him, I would tell him to maybe, the hardest thing to change in anyone is their grip, but his is very strong around here, which creates a very closed bat face, and when he picks it up, the bat goes back in behind him, a la a Graham Smith or something like that.
Ollie Pope's a little bit like that.
Ollie Pope's very, very flat. He's not back in behind him here. He's very flat with his bat face, but he picks it up towards first slip. This youngster here could actually work on just opening his top hand up a little bit on the handle, which will allow him then for a wrist cock, and then the wrist cock will allow the bat to be picked up out towards sort of second slip rather than back in behind him.
Okay.
The biggest trouble he would have there, and it's interesting that he's sent that clip in, because that'll be his easiest shot. That'll be the best shot for him to play that cover drive. I'd love to see him try and hit an on drive or a shot through mid-wicket, because with the bat round there, that's where he would really struggle.
It's hard to change your grip, though. It feels so unnatural when you do it, doesn't it? Because you pick it up naturally, and that's the way you go with it.
Yeah, and young kids in particular, they're looking for the strongest grip possible, right? They're looking for a way that they've got complete control of the bat and they can swing the bat hard and fast. So that's not unusual for young kids, especially now because they're playing a lot of short-form cricket, and sometimes the best technical kids slip through the cracks, and the bigger, more powerful kids are getting more of an opportunity. So, but for him, I think going forward, it'd be one thing to definitely think about working on.
Okay, going to go to the bowling again. Levi, how old is he? He's 9. He wants to know how to bowl an outswinger. If you see this, a lot of it is going in, which isn't the worst thing in the world, and he's obviously accurate because he's hitting the stumps. But is that an action thing or potentially a grip thing, would you say?
A bit of both, and a strength thing. I think it's easier to bowl an away swinger when you get a little bit stronger, you can stand a bit taller in your action. First of all, my belief was your best in-nipper or in-swinger bowls people, your best away swinger beats the outside edge. So I always liked this angle, but it's nice to have the option to be able to go away. I think with that action at the moment, tactically work on a wobble seam that can stand up and go away rather than trying to swing the ball away too much. So this would be the shiny side. At the moment, is swinging the ball in like that with a wobble seam to stop it swinging ball in. Maybe angle the seam towards like a leg slip, and hold it facing your fingers across it, so it doesn't come out straight, it comes out wobbling like that. So you can pick your line and it will stay on that line because it won't swing in. So a wobble seam will then hopefully nip away and catch the outside edge. To work on an away swinger, the shoulders will need to turn a little bit more. So at the moment, quite open, which is allowing the ball to swing in. A tip you can do, maybe just walking through, you don't have to do this off a full run-up, is just practice turning the shoulders a little bit more. So turning the shoulders, just bowl the ball on a full toss to a friend and just figure out what that feels like with the shoulders turning a lot more. It might feel quite unnatural, and I wouldn't do that off a full run-up to start. I used to do it even at 36, 37, just walking through, turning the shoulders and trying to get that away shape and obviously you have to change the ball over. You have the ball to swing in with the shiny side like that, bring the shiny side to that side and angle that now to second slip with a quite a nice light grip. The key thing I think to swing bowling as well is not gripping the ball too hard. You're here with golf swing, you don't grip it too much. If you're gripping so much, very hard for the fingers to relax and release the ball in the way you want it to. So I used to imagine my fingertips were almost there on the fingers because I'd run in a bit like that, because it would keep my everything relaxed. If I grip it hard, I immediately get tension in my elbow, my shoulder tenses up, and then it becomes a problem on release. So to keep relaxed, I'd always, you'd see me first few balls of a test match running in like that, and that's maybe because you're a bit nervous, you're trying to be as relaxed as possible, and eventually it does release off the fingers, but the key to